Hello everyone, welcome at your world or mine. Show me yours and I'll show you mine. And today we have, now I have to choose my words carefully. I'm an alien, as you might all know, and this is the good Zulu boy, and his name is Thulani. But it's so interesting because in my experience here on the earth as an alien, in my visit here, I discovered that that name means keep quiet. So this is going to be a fascinating experience to now speak to somebody who must actually keep quiet. So Thulani, how often do you keep quiet?
Occasionally I do.
That's the wonderful thing of free will, isn't it?
Indeed, yeah.
Now talking about free will, I'm really interested in your world. What is your world like?
It's a lot of fun. It's happy. Not to say there aren't challenges or obstacles. I just choose to see the good, focus on joyful things, on things that make me happy, beautiful things. Yeah, I firmly believe it's a matter of choice. You can be totally focused on the negative, as we call it, or you can just choose to focus on the positive, as I firmly believe in you get what you focus on. So, hey, give me happy, give me joy, give me fun, give me laughter. Um, yeah, that's my world.
So I'm really curious now. What is this thing called negativity? How would you define that?
I think my definition of negativity would be things that when one looks at or experiences, um, one doesn't feel very good about such situations or events. Yet, here's the beauty of getting older. You realize, and now I understand that this is a universe of contrast. So it's through knowing what you don't want that you define what it is that you want. So as a universe of contrast, we have all these things happening which aren't particularly nice. But then through them happening, you then get to define what it is that you want in your experience. So the challenge always is then to sort of look away from the negative and zoom in on the newly created desire of what you want.
Now there's two things that immediately comes up when you talk about that.
Yep.
Again, the choice thing comes through very clearly that you have a choice.
Yeah.
But to be able to see what you want, you say you have to also experience what you don't like and what you don't feel comfortable with, and it doesn't make you come alive. It's not nice to be with, for example. That means you actually have to do stuff. You can't lock yourself in a room and expect now to discover what you really like, because you have to experience. And sometimes these experiences they don't feel so good. And other times, wow, I like more of this, so I'm going to bring more of this into my experience. So you're like an attractor, you're like a magnet, am I correct?
Indeed. Yep. And in fact, it's always interesting because when you're going through whatever or what we refer to as a terrible situation or negative situation, once that's over, you sort of look back and you think, oh my gosh, actually, there were some lessons out of that. There's some goodness that came out of that because now I know what it is that I don't want. So actually, all's good. And I firmly believe in things always work out. So, just chill about things, do what you need to do. But things always work out.
So that means is that what you mean? That then you focus on your experience instead of judging other experiences? Because you simply focus on what makes you happy, So you don't really care what others do, because in that moment you don't give your power away, because if we do then judge other people or talk badly about them, complain, blame, all those horrible things, we're going away from ourselves, from this happiness that we actually want to experience.
And also, on the same breath, you make it as if they don't have the power. And I firmly believe that everyone has the power to change whatever situation they are in. So one again of the big things I've gotten as I've gotten older is minding your own business. Just not worry about other people. And I know it may sound horrible, but truth is we are all magical, powerful creators, and we all create our world, man. You create your own, I create my own, and who came up with the rule book in terms of this is how you're supposed to live or lead your life? Why can't I allow you to live in your world, and at the same time you allow me to live in my world?
That's wonderful. You know what? It's so interesting. I wrote about that this morning.
Oh wow.
About, yes, I wrote about, that's why I love the synchronicity happening always in this way, is I wrote about it's not that somebody else's experience is good or bad. It's simply theirs.
Yep.
And my experience is mine. So
Yep.
if I allow others to be who they are and to have their experience without trying to fix them or to complain about them, for example, because that doesn't work out, do anything anywhere on our planet. But if I focus in on my own experience, I actually empower them subconsciously, because I'm not sending out these horrible thoughts to them, projections to them. So in that sense, I actually empower them with just by being myself and by allowing
Yep.
them to be who they are. But
Precisely. And actually, to one of the things I love is, interestingly, you know how you started off with the meaning of my name. It's been so brilliant to watch what happens when you as an individual go inside yourself and you bring out the best in you. You don't even have to say a word to the next person, and magic happens. You know, so yeah.
mm-hmm. But is yeah, but isn't that about that? Isn't that what, if you, because you don't go, you don't know how to go into yourself, you try to constantly seek validation outside of yourself. And that's why you
Yeah.
actually want people to speak, because you want them to validate you all the time.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
magic really happens when you discover that that magic's inside of you. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
who you are around, but you have a preference. We believe in preferences. Because I prefer not to be in a certain situation, so I won't go there.
Yeah.
So it's my
Yeah.
preference, but it goes back, it's another P word, it goes back to my power, my own power.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not that I want to rule over other people or make
Oh
them
yeah.
like me or follow me. It's nothing to do with that. It's me, being able to be me in whatever situation, and to know I have the choice to remove myself from that situation and choose a different direction. But it's up to me,
Yeah.
it's not up to them. And I actually do not need their validation.
Exactly. And that's one of the things I love about free will.
Mm.
You know, you get to choose whatever feels right for you um, in that particular moment. Um, you and I might have a dinner planned for, you know, later in the day or this evening, and you know, should you feel I don't feel like going anymore, instead I'd rather go to the movies, I'm very much okay with that too. You know, you could just pick up the phone, let me know, listen, change your plans, or I've changed my mind. And guess what? That does absolutely nothing to me, because I fully get it that, you know, we change our minds.
We change plans or something else came up.
Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly. You know,
Mm.
and truth is I'd rather, you know, be at home by myself. Dancing around happy, sort of, to a place where I know I'm not going to enjoy.
No, you now when you share that, what comes up for me is these words, and I know we call it public language, and also imposed language, like you should do this and you wouldn't have done that, and no, and never, and things like that, which is, and also say I'm fine, but actually inside you feel you like brewing with anger or discomfort or whatever it is, but you pretend to be happy, but inside you're actually not really happy because society, you think society expects it from you to always be happy. That's also not what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
It's to just allow yourself also that place that if I don't feel well, I am angry, that's okay.
Yeah.
Instead of now making this big issue about it, and to the outside world pretend everything is hunky-dory, but meantime inside there's this conflict and the pressure from my peers, for example. I think also my own definition of being cool, because if I think to be part of this group, I need to act in a certain way, but then I divorce myself from this beauty we're talking about now, that's inside of ourselves, that's self-dishonoring. And that's the biggest crime we can do against ourselves. It's self-sabotage. Instead of, like you said, just, it's okay to be by myself for this while, till I find others that's like me, that I enjoy being with, who uplifts me, who's meaningful for me, and who don't try to press me down all the time or expect from me to act in a way that I'm not. So it's, that thing goes back again to this choice thing. It's okay for me to choose.
Indeed. And actually, talking of the example that you first made of wanting to be around people who uplift you, interestingly enough, the universe will deliver such people to you, but then you've got to be on that same sort of vibrational level. You've got to be uplifted yourself. And one of the big things is self-love. We are so quick to want to be loved by the world, when in fact we pretty harsh on ourselves. So I find it interesting that we expect love from others, yet we don't love ourselves fully.
What would you then say is I really need to ask this because I get so many different definitions from others about it, and there's obviously no right or wrong one. It's just an experience and a perspective and a personal truth, which is not necessarily everybody's truth. When you say self-love, because we hear all these words now in your world about um, psychopaths and people who only, they've got this overloaded way of expressing themselves, narcissists and the likes. But that's not self-love, hey? That's two different things.
Yeah. Um, for me, it means if you listen to the messages to yourself, and so those are your thoughts in your mind to yourself, what are they predominantly saying? How often do I look at myself in the mirror and fully appreciate me, the body that I have, without seeing things I don't like about my body? The self-limiting beliefs, that are constantly on our mind. So self-love to me is showing myself the compassion that I'm very quick to show somebody else. Um, just looking myself and marveling at this wonderful being that I am, focusing on telling myself positive um, messages, how beautiful, how handsome I am, how smart I am, how connected I am with my inner being, how great the world is, how wonderful I am, and all the wonderful things that I'm doing in the world, the engagement with various people in the world, the sort of the positive impact I'd like to think that I have on the people that I engage with, how happy, how funny, it's just bombarding oneself with all those really good and wonderful things about oneself.
You know, you,
And I
you
mean,
bring, sorry.
yeah, I think just being in this or having this experience where we are in physical bodies and in the physical world. Um, why should I be looking for love outside and not giving myself love? After all, I am love.
That's beautiful, Thulani. You know what? There's two things that you must remind me if I forget the other one, please, because as an alien, my mind is now all over the place of things you just said that I want to explore. I'm curious about them. And the way you express the self-love, we would call it self-appreciation.
Oh yeah. Oh, I
Yes.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because love is such a general word. What is it? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and you also now have given me you've given me a possibility of of what I spoke about when I compared it with loving myself versus being a narcissist or a sociopath.
Yeah.
Is that in that case, in our understanding, and if I'm not correct on this, I'm happy to admit to that, is that in that type of sense, that egoistic part is wanting others to justify you and love you and show how wonderful you are. But what you're talking about is not that. You're talking about yourself.
Yeah.
So you're not expecting anybody else to do this for you. This is self. This is self-appreciation. This is self-acceptance, but also realizing how wonderful this being is that you are. That you don't have to play small for whatever reason. That's not the same as being arrogant. It's something completely different. Something completely different. And the other thing that you raised that also started ringing bells in my mind is we call it the inner critic. So if you hear a voice telling you the inside that, oh, you're bad, or you're not good enough, or you have to please people to get acceptance or get their approval to do something, it's your inner critic. That's not what we would call your best self. That's not your best self speaking. Your best self will never try to speak you down. Your best self will actually make you say these beautiful things when you look at yourself in the mirror to say, wow, thank you for being in this beautiful body, whatever it looks like. Not anybody else's standards, just appreciating what you are here and allowing yourself to express it. Because if we don't allow ourselves to express it authentically, the world cannot respond to it authentically. Because in our world, we believe, it's one of our belief systems, that how we express ourselves and how we present ourselves, so that means how we show up in life, is the reflector of how people and the world will respond to us. So if we're going to act like victim, the world will give us more victim responses, reactions actually, not even responses. And like you said, we will draw more of that towards ourselves because we are a magnet. There's this beautiful force inside, life force inside of ourselves that is like a magnet. It brings to us what we are putting out there. So it's important sometimes, even when the situation feels uncomfortable, to just notice, but is that now, and if I use the word uplifting, it's in that sense, is this uplifting for me, enriching my life? Or is it making me feel less? Because if it makes me feel less, run away as fast as you can. Because they're not for you. Because it will make you, and that your inner critic feeds on those things. Because it needs fuel. It needs fuel. So it feeds on those type of situations because it wants to say to you how worthless you are. You're not good enough. Look at what you look like. Comparing, and that's always then comparing to something else. And you're such a beautiful being. You don't have to compare yourself with anybody because there's only one of you in this way on this beautiful earth of yours with 8 billion people. only one like you. So you don't have to compare yourself with anybody else. And if that comparison comes up in your thoughts, they know it's your inner critic. And you know what I do in our world, and which I share with my people as well, is that when you realize it's your inner critic, send it to the Sahara to go and do some, to go and count the sand. Go or to Italy to go and count all the pasta that's been made. Because we'll keep them busy forever. Because you don't want them in your experience when you're awake. And you can even, in our world, influence that when you're asleep. You can also decide when you're asleep. You don't want nightmares. So if you have lots of nightmares every night, you have the choice before you go to sleep to say, tonight I don't want nightmares. I want good dreams. I want to experience good things in my dreams.
Oh, yeah.
But I need to ask you something, Thulani, that you mentioned earlier before I forget, is this thing about vibration that you spoke about. What is vibration in your experience? How would you explain it to me? Because I'm an alien. I don't know that concept.
Sure. Got me thinking.
Okay, so let's. Okay, can we play a little game? Can we play a little game? And I really want to show this to anybody else. So thank you for giving me this opportunity to learn. It's not to put you on the spot there, but I want you to close your eyes and take a deep breath. And then when I say the word vibration, allow it to drop into your body. Vibration. And just notice for you what, maybe it's a sensation, maybe it's a thought, a feeling. What comes up?
It's very calm.
Now I will want to translate that for everybody on what we will, how we will do it and perceive it on our planet. So it's more a perception. It's a state of being. Because you and yours will be very different from mine. Mine, if you drop that word into my awareness, into my being, my body, I get all, my body starts vibrating in like shivers. So for me, it's an exuberance feeling, but for you, it's calm. And that's perfect because 8 billion of your beautiful human beings on the planet have this specific state of being, which we would call your home frequency. And if I now look at you and experience you, even through technology in this way, I sense calm.
That's where I am right now.
And that is your that's your home vibration. State of being. You can call it whatever you want to call it, that you resonate with. Doesn't matter what words you put to it. It's the sense that you have inside of yourself that then ripples out into the world. So everybody else that comes in contact with you without you doing something will experience this peace. Because the same as we are magnets, we also transmitters. We send this into the universe without realizing it. It happens spontaneously. It's like breathing. You don't have to think to breathe. It happens spontaneously. Your heart is beating 100,000 times a day on average without you doing anything. This is the same. This is a beingness state. So it's a state of the being. And your vibration, in words then, in your experience, is calm. And mine is this exuberant feeling that everything starts in my cells. And so it's the opposite actually of yours in terms of, if we would talk about worlds of opposites, but it's not really. It's just the expression of that vibration. So everybody else, and how you do it. And you have infinite ways to express it as well. Because I can also go in this state of complete calm, but it's not how I usually walk around in the world because I've got just too much energy. And and you know, the funny thing that happens with me, if I suppress it, this exuberant feeling, or if I go into situations where it's oppressed, when I'm not allowed to do this, or I don't feel comfortable in doing this, my body gets sick.
Yeah.
My body doesn't feel balanced. So when we talk about sick on our planet, we mean imbalance in the body, mind, and heart and soul. The whole thing, this beingness thing. So when you notice that you feel depressed, it's actually this vibe inside, if we can give it another name, this vibe inside of yourself that's suppressed. There's nothing wrong with you when you're in depression. Absolutely nothing. It simply means you need to go and do something else. Get out there, do something, whatever it might also mean for you to come back to a smaller place, to not be so much in the crowds, so that you can just come back to this vibe inside of yourself. Because if you do feel depressed, for example, or unhappy, it means this vibe in yourself doesn't have the opportunity to express itself in whatever way it is. And it could simply mean being calm. So if you're in a chaotic situation and you want to feel this calm, go to the bathroom, wherever you are. Or go outside, even better. But you remove yourself from the situation that steals away your calm. Because it feeds on it.
Yeah, and it's interesting that I feel that we always guided in terms of what's available to us in moments. So as you say, you're in a heated situation, just if you get the instinct to just go to the bathroom or go outside, do exactly that. I think that's the other thing we've kind of gotten rid of on our planet is finding those answers, because I really do believe that we are constantly bombarded with answers and solutions, but for whatever reason we've sort of disregarded that is available to us.
Yes, I resonate with that on our planet as well. It's like we're dismissing it, we're ignoring it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe, and there might be obviously infinite reasons why we do this on a being level, for whatever experience we want to come and experience, wherever we are. But the part that for us feels out of balance, it doesn't mean one is right and the other is wrong. It simply means that we are so conditioned to listen to what other people say, and to have a secondary experience. Because the moment, if I'm like in this exuberant state, just to give a simple example, and you tell me, no, you need to be calm. My body's not gonna, my whole being is not gonna like that. There's going to become some type of aggression is going to come from somewhere that I wouldn't even know, because it's not authentic to me. It's authentic to you and true to you. But I think what happened on both our planets is we've been conditioned to think there's just one way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that if we hear these messages that you're speaking about, these solutions coming to us, we ignore them, because firstly we think, where the hell are they coming from? And they say, are they really true? And should I really do this? Because it's so the opposite of what is expected from me, or what I think is expected from me. That's also for us a big difference. Because sometimes we think other people want us to behave in a certain way. And actually, you know what? They've got their own stuff. They don't even think about you. They've got themselves so much to handle and to consider and to take care of. It's mostly in your own mind that you make up. And it's what we call a coping strategy for yourself, the part of you that's not this best self. Again, going back to that inner critic. It's not your best self. Your best self won't do things like that to you. Your best self won't ask you to jump into a fire. It knows your body will get burned, for example. So know that if it's something that will harm you in whatever way, and now we speak about emotional harm, mental harm, physical harm, any type of harm, then you know it's not for you, because that best self will never make you do stuff like that. Ever. Ever. And that doesn't mean you can't go and out and experience stuff, but you still know what you can come back to.
Yeah.
So if you say to me, I want to go and, I want to do this cliff jumping thing. Awesome. I've done those type of things. It's most deliberating things, those type of things. But if I'm going to do it on a day when the wind is blowing with a big force, where there's a danger I'll be blown into the rocks and I'll die, doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean tomorrow when the wind is down, I can't go and try.
Precisely.
But each time I'm coming back to what we call this home place, this home base thing. Calmness,
and actually,
exuberance, whatever it might be.
You've just reminded me of something that somebody once said to me, and they said, "See the world as a playground. Just see the world as a playground. Play, have fun,
Mm.
create."
It's not so serious. It's joy. And yes, that doesn't mean, like you said in the beginning, you won't feel grumpy or we won't feel so good. We won't feel so energized. That's okay.
Yeah.
But it's the seriousness thing that takes the joy out of life. And when you were speaking about that as well, something else came up for me is this thing of in a certain situation, I'm not allowed to be joyful. I need to behave. And human beings have given it this interesting word in the workplace of professionalism. What on earth is that?
Yeah.
So you have to behave like something that you're not. It's not authentic in that moment. Or you have to think in a specific way. Or, yeah. And when you go back to that word, you used the word playground for consciousness. And you know what we use? We use when we start to see that everything is a play of consciousness. We won't get so disturbed and so frustrated and so whatever, because it's just a play of consciousness. Like if you go back to children, look at them, they're not serious, they do all these weird, interesting things.
Yeah.
There's no fear, there's no worries, there's no concerns of what other people will think.
Stress.
No stress, no seriousness. They just do it. If they want to try something new, they just do it. They're not afraid.
But as an adult, you are deemed to be irresponsible.
Then on my planet, we are very irresponsible, extremely irresponsible. Then you're a rebel.
But then, when you've gone to that point where you love yourself, that doesn't phase you, because also I always go back to my intention in everything that I do. What is my intention? And I mean, there are things that I've done when I've had very good, very clear intentions, and somehow it didn't pan out the way I'd hoped it would. But I can go to bed, and I love my sleep, so I can go back to bed and sleep knowing full well that, and okay, it's a pity it didn't work out the way I thought it would, but my intention was never to to harm or make somebody feel bad. Intention for me is just key. And if you, as you talk about the whole professionalism thing, I always ask who wrote the rule book. And I've broken a lot of rules, but in me breaking my rules, I always go back to my intention. It is not just to, just to be difficult or to make somebody else feel bad. Um, as you say, it's just I'm exercising my right to play, to see the world as a playground, and also as someone who firmly believes in things always work out. It's just makes life so much easier. Even though people at the time might be like, "Are you serious?" Um, I know. I know that things always work out, so I tend to worry less and you stress less because things always work out. Universe has got my back.
Mm.
What more do I need?
Oh. You really now bring up two very interesting things. So I think it's very important for everybody who's going to engage in this to really take in carefully and to sit with it and let it simmer. Is the thing about intention and that things will work out for the best.
Yeah,
For us in our world, and then it relates back to that professionalism thing as well, and the rule thing. Firstly, for us, we're like you. Who wrote those rules? Who decided?
yeah,
We say who decided. Because
yeah,
who can be an expert on my life? Because I not experience what I'm experiencing. I mean, you need being with unique circumstances every single day. And no day is the same.
yeah,
It would have been such a boring life if we had that type of situation. So firstly, who wrote the rule books? And why do I need to abide by them?
yeah,
I need to abide by this inner voice, the best self, and that's it. Because that best self will not let me harm people, will not let
yeah,
me treat other people badly. And it goes back to the intention, which is very important. For us, it's useless to have 10,000 goals. Oh, this year I want to lose so many kilos of weight, or I, because you put it away from yourself. A goal is something that you need to go and achieve in the future at some other time.
yeah,
But in this moment, my intention is today I want to eat healthy, I want to sleep enough, I want to rest enough, I want to have enough fun, I want to be with nice people, I want to co create with nice people, whatever it might be. I want to exercise healthy today, whatever it might be. Maybe just want to go for a walk today around the block or to the park, whatever it might be, doesn't matter. But it's my intention for this moment. Instead of chasing something that I cannot influence alone because the whole world influences it, not only me.
yeah,
And that takes a lot of your energy and it causes a lot of ructions between human beings, especially in the workplace. Because there's a lot of things we cannot control, but we can only take responsibility for ourselves and how we want to experience everything and what we want to contribute to the world out there. So this, when we go back to your vibration thing, that sense of being that we want to put out there in whatever we do. So it might be different tomorrow, and that's okay. But it's my intention to do that.
yeah,
And like you say, whether it happens or not, and sometimes it might not happen, and it will be mostly for reasons we cannot control. But the intention was pure, it was authentic. And that's the most important part of this all. So I'm really grateful that you used the word intention. So if I have to ask you as an alien, how would you explain intention in a very simplistic way? Is it a wish? Is it a desire? What is an intention?
it could be those, but I think at the core of it, for me, is as someone who is having a physical experience. Um, my intention is pretty much what the non-physical part of me, the infinite intelligence side of me, really is. Um, so I think it is, yeah, identifying with that, which is infinite intelligence. And as you said, it is love. It is coming from a place of love. It is, and in fact, it's not just love; it's unconditional love.
Hmm.
Uh, it is seeing the beauty and the greatness in everyone and everything around you. Um, and that is my definition of, you know, in intention, in whatever I do, it is to bring out the brilliance, show love. It is beauty. It is elevation. It is showing possibilities. Um, yeah, it's just I can't give you the word. It 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 it's that feeling of just pure bliss, love, appreciation. Yeah.
That's beautifully expressed. Thank you for and articulated. Thank you for that. If I had to take it to a verb on my planet,
Yeah.
an intention to intend is it's this invisible force that you're speaking about, this intelligence, putting the whole universe on call and saying, this is what I want to bring into the world in this moment, into my experience, how I relate to others, what I do, doesn't matter in what form. But I'm actually putting with an intention, it's like a statement. It's not a demand, but it's a command. And there's a difference for us between a demand and a command. It's simply putting the whole universe on call. I want this in my experience because of these things you mentioned, love, appreciation, bliss, all those beautiful things. So it's like letting the universe know we're very specific. We're not telling the universe we want struggle or suffering or poverty or whatever it might, or dissonance between with others or fights with others. So we're putting the universe on call. So we're letting the universe know, but I have this power to say what I want to bring into my experience, and this is my intention with this. So however it plays out, it's okay. Because my intention is at the core of it, not how it manifests. And the stronger I believe, from a self-belief point of view, in this intention, the more it will manifest in the way that I wanted it actually to manifest, which was my intention. It's not a want, it's an intention. For us, a want is not necessarily intention, and want is more something maybe out of neediness. Not necessarily, but maybe out of neediness. But where intention is at its core so pure, and when we say pure, true to ourselves. And we talk about this invisible part of ourselves that will not let us get harmed for unnecessary reasons. But sometimes we don't want to listen to that, and then we go to something, and then we get hurt, and then we blame that, and then it's not that part of ourselves that made us do that. But it's not easy. It's a process to actually. There's a devotion part to it. To simply say, I'm really committed to living this type of life. And yes, it might take a few days or time, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's a choice. It really is a choice.
And you just pause and say, I've got a choice. And you know, we've got an interesting way in our planet how to do it, is simply lift your hand up. And you would feel on your hand some sensation, which will bring you back to yourself. That when you're in a situation where where you can't choose, simply lift up your hand, which will bring you back to this invisible force. Or you can rub your hands together as well. Because in this rubbing of the hands, you feel heat between your palms. Who's heated it? It's yours. And that heat comes out naturally. Brings you back to you, that you can just presence, we call it presence in yourself, or centering yourself. Because in that centering of yourself, all these weird or crazy thoughts or fearful thoughts or whatever it might be, or sensation from your body disappear. And bring it just back to you, that you can make an empowered choice. That you do not make a choice from the wounded part of yourself, the victim part, the one that's afraid, the one that worries, the one that's worrying about money, for example, or the one that's afraid to go out there and have a new experience, for example. Because it's when you're here with yourself that you can make the best decision for yourself in this moment. So it's important to just take a pause. Hey, I've gone into that chaos, but it's not who I am. Why am I there? So we call that type of things essential inquiry. So we're asking essential questions about what our own well-being's best for ourselves, not about others, nothing to do with them. It's about me, because the way I'm going to respond to the outside world is what I'm going to get back. So it's up to me, not up to them. And doing this brings us back to us. Yeah.
You've just reminded me of another saying, what you give to the world is what you get back from the world.
Exactly. Yeah. And you know, there's an interesting thing in the workplace that we heard about in your planet. It's a concept that they called in the business world FIFO. Fit in or go away. I won't use that word. But we have to use FIFO not for fitting in. It's for, I'm deciding what I want to bring into my experience. I've got that power. Yeah. And it's up to me. There's no FIFO there. It's up to me. So if I want beautiful people around me, it's up to me, because it's what I presence out into the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And we will, and yes, life is an adventure, like you say. We will do things that will put us in such positions, and that's okay. Because like you say, we learn from what we don't want in those circumstances. So we don't even have to judge ourselves to go into unlove for ourselves when we do things like that. It's okay, but we come back to this choice we have, and that we can start off in a different direction.
Certainly.
So Thulani, who actually spoke quite beautifully today for somebody who's supposed to keep quiet, but I think your presence says it all. And I think if, as humans and on my planet as aliens, if we just take more time to appreciate the presence of somebody else, just their beingness, the world and my planet will be a much better place. So today we want to honor your beingness. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I want to ask you for a message or whatever it is you want to share with the ones who came more recently on your planet. Is there any specific message you have perhaps with them about what we shared today, or something else?
Just have fun, man. Enjoy the ride. Have fun. Have fun.
That's awesome. Have fun. Exactly. I can feel that fun now in my body, because we are so sensory on my planet. So thank you for that you have shared the fun virus with me today. And everybody else who's watching this and engaging in this, take time to just appreciate yourself. Make time for it every day in whatever form it feels good for you and that you resonate with. And those that you're coming to contact with, just take time to enjoy and appreciate what they are, whether you agree what they do or not. Just appreciate them. You don't have to build a long relationship with them, but you can appreciate them. And you don't have to do stuff with them, but you can appreciate them. Just to take time for that and have fun and have fun. And you're welcome to contact Thulani after this encounter. His contact details will be at the end, and engage with him, and also just share this state of being, this vibration, and because that by itself already is a lot of fun, believe me. So thank you, everybody, and thank you, Thulani, the one who's actually supposed to not speak, for all this beautiful wisdom you shared today. Some last words for all of us?
Oh, just thank you for making this possible. Love that you decided to sort of pop into our planet to find out about us. We're doing pretty well, I think.
I think
It's
you
just
do.
June. So thank
Yeah.
you for the engagement, for the the wise words, for the encouragement and sheer love. Lots of love right back at you.
Ah, that's awesome. Let love right back at you. Thank you. Thank you, Thulani. Bye bye, everyone.